Talk here at the All Volunteer in Caythorpe. This time we're going to be talking about the squad for next year. We've gone through a list of who we would keep, but now we're going to talk about the squad and potential signings. And really, to kick off the signings, we're going to talk about the manager. So we've got Ardley as of now. What do we think?
Come on, James.
He took us down.
Jumping at once.
No, he didn't.
Well, he did. He took us down. You're dreaming, pal.
We're off.
Yeah, he took us down. I'd get rid of him.
What person?
Fresh start. We need a fresh start. I don't think he was that good. Has he done it in the National League before?
No. George, been there, though.
George, how can you expect someone to come in, and it's been said in previous videos multiple times, where there's divisions in the locker room of players from the managers that Hardy's bought in.
But he's been part of these divisions.
Who?
Hardly.
How is it?
He's created the third team of the season, didn't he? And that team took us down.
But if he wants to come in and make signings, he wants to come in and make signings.
He couldn't, yeah.
You just described one of his signings as the best player we had this year in Mitch Rose.
Exactly.
One player.
Craig McHale-Smith, he said, was one of the best players as well.
Did they keep us up?
Jim O'Brien.
No, but they made
Jim O'Brien.
it could have been a lot worse if we didn't have them.
Some stubs.
It might have not gone to the last day if we didn't have them. Especially McHale-Smith. Well, Mitch Rose as well. McHale-Smith. Oh, I don't know.
But do you think? Yeah, all right. Signings aside, do you think he's the manager to do it?
I don't, how can you in the position that he's walked in? How can you judge him on that?
Who do you get that's been at a high level? Like, realistically, is a League 1 or 2 manager going to then drop down and take a risk with a club that is in turmoil at the minute?
No one has a manager that knows the league.
There's no certainty in loss. Everything's uncertain at the minute. So who?
Could get Steve Evans, so be careful for what you wish. But he gets teams out of league.
Yeah.
What's wrong with giving a manager? Give him a season. Give him a full
and he's not going to
this
have
season.
I'd
forget this season.
Go
next season. Give him a season. For what reason?
But
he's recruited well.
And this has been our problem for many years now. Is this instability in managers?
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that in terms of Ardley we should just keep him just because of that. I think he's had he bears us some responsibility for us ending up where we've ended up. But so do the players, so does the owner. So that goes without saying. But I don't know. He seems like a genuine person. Seems like a genuine bloke.
I don't dislike him. Yeah.
No, that's fair. And that's.
I think he wants to be here.
He said
I think he wants to put it right.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
I think, and that's what I like. Is because he thinks, I've got to do something right by these supporters.
I was just a bit uncertain about his end of season comments. They weren't very assuring. Where he spoke, he just didn't look like he was going to stay.
But
he's saying, one day this club should get back. Not we. He wasn't saying we. He was like this club. He sort of detached himself from it, almost like he's done with it.
I think it's hard to stay positive when what was going on around the time.
Oh yeah.
He's probably thinking about. I mean, it might be a bit selfish. He's probably thinking about his future in terms of everything. He doesn't live in Nottingham, I believe. He travels down.
No, not many people.
In Rennes,
a lot of players and managers now don't live in the area where the club is that they play for.
Nolan's still in Nottingham.
If it's a long-term investment, though.
I think also with Ardley, right, you've got to think. He left Wimbledon. Was it Wimbledon?
Yeah.
Yep.
Bottom of the league.
Yeah.
He's just taken Notts down.
He's on a bad run.
But he can't just say, I'm going. He's just taken a team down and put Wimbledon, left them bottom. He needs Notts as much as Notts.
He needs to restore his credibility.
He does.
Who's going to take him?
Who is going to take him? Because where was he before Wimbledon?
His first job.
So
6 years,
I think.
So he took them up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it didn't go well for him, and this season hasn't gone well for him. I think if he brings Notts back up, like you say, his credibility's.
Yeah, his stock rises.
I'd
like to see him. Sorry, I was going to say, because he seems as a genuine person, I'd like to see him do it.
Yeah,
and that's a bit sentimental. And in the same way that I'd like to see that Nolan does it, in the same way that I'd like to see that one day Sean Derry comes back, as I believe he will. I think he'll come back one day, and take the club on. But I'd like to see him do it.
I don't think it's a It sounds really strange to say. I think what is more important than who is manager next season is that it gets sorted immediately.
Yeah.
Because every other team in that league, more so than any in the conference, players need contracts. They can't afford. They're not getting paid as much as league football. Nowhere near. They need contracts. They need assurances that they're going to get paid, that their family's going to, have food on the table. If we wait 2-3 weeks to try and get some to decide who's the manager, the players aren't going to be there. Yeah. The good conference players will be snapped up. We will either find ourselves picking at the bones of players that haven't been picked up yet, or we're going to be paying over the odds for league players.
Yeah.
So I think more than just the record, I wouldn't mind Ardley staying. I've got no qualms with Ardley staying. He's given him a season. I'm fed up of us changing manager constantly. I would give him a year, but this has to be done within the next week.
I'm saying, what are we today? 10th of May. I'm saying it needs to be done now. That early.
Has he got a contract for next season?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
he's got to be. Yeah. It's his job. He must be planning for next year. He must have already had players lined up for next year.
And that comes back to the takeover and expediting that. Yeah, you're right, because it goes back to that whole thing when the first January with Nolan, January with Nolan, when they weren't prepared and they didn't get the targets they wanted, and what we ended up with. All right, yes, we ended up in the playoffs, but let's be honest, probably more out of luck than planning that we ended up there.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see Ardley, because I just feel he's had a really rough ride. I do feel I do feel sorry for the guy, because it must have been like, what have I done to deserve all of this?
Yeah, like you said earlier, I don't think there was a manager in the world that could have come in and unified that dressing room.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Pep could have walked in, wouldn't have done the thing. All of them, all the big names.
That's a big shot.
But they wouldn't have done, because it was one of the problems Ardley spoke about very early on in his tenure was the difficulty in motivating players and getting players to play for you. It's not like the old days, you go back to Jimmy and Clough, all those where you scream them, you tell them, and you cajole them into doing it. You've got to be a bit more subtle. You've got to really find.
Do you think after a relegation that he'll be able to find the motivation for the teams?
It'll be a different.
Do you think
team.
Even with the same, roughly the same players, do you think he'll?
If he's given a free hand, because he knows what the divisions are, obviously, to say, I need to get these people out, because all they're going to do is undermine and divide, and then bring in players. Yeah.
Right, so you got something else?
I was just going to say, it kind of leads into what we're going to. I think one of Ardley's big downfalls, is just why the team wasn't what he wanted, was that throughout January he wanted a target man. He wanted that big striker to play alongside a Hemmings or a Dennis, who I think we still had at the time, possibly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long you've been manager. If you come in as a third manager in season, it's not your team.
No.
So, so forget that. So moving on from the manager, literally one word: next season, Ardley. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Outnumbered, but no.
Okay.
Fresh start.
Fair enough. Right, let's move on. So players. So from our best knowledge, we've got who's in contract and who we believe is out of contract. So we believe that Fitzsimmons is in contract, and we've all sort of said in a previous video that we think he'll be the backup keeper.
Yeah, backup or transfer.
Or maybe, yeah. Tutor, we all agree we want him starting right back.
Absolutely, yeah.
Bird, we've all agreed we want him starting centre back. What about Oxlade-Chamberlain?
Never really saw him.
I've not seen enough to make it.
As much as his appearances, what we've seen of him has been poor, and I'm being polite.
I actually give him a chance.
But then he played for
He hasn't had a
Oxford. He
chance.
played against us for Oxford City.
Yeah.
And I do remember him playing that game thinking, geez, that guy just seems to lollop down that right-hand side.
He's got to have a chance.
For fun.
Even if it's pre-season.
The amount of players that you see play 3-4 games, you think, they're rubbish. And then a season later, they're well, not a world beater, but they're a completely different player. There's no saying that he can't be. He isn't a good player. There's no saying that.
I haven't seen enough of him to make a judgment.
No,
I think his name comes into it a lot. I do that, honestly.
Yeah, you're right.
expect
Absolutely,
more
I
from
think
him,
you're absolutely right.
You
Yeah,
expect more.
yeah.
From him.
Do you expect Mitch Rose or?
You're thinking that the other Oxlade-Chamberlain is going to step onto the pitch.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, hello.
That's true.
It's a name,
It's
and I think
a taller, slightly chunkier version. Good God.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think that's main part of the reason.
Yeah, I agree.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Kellett, I would like to see him stay and play.
yeah, I'd like to see him
Yeah.
fit.
Yes, and that goes back to what right early on when you said, about pre-season and again going back missing someone like Mike Edwards, who knew how to obviously get the players fit. I mean, I don't know the guy who's the fitness coach. I'll be honest, I don't know who it is, and he might be very good at his job, but it begs a question that if everyone's going, well, we weren't quite fit enough, and they didn't look fit enough, and tiring, and these soft tissue injuries.
Maybe it's a lack of facility. Though.
Yeah, good point, George.
That's what I'm saying.
You mean we haven't got that training ground that's going to be built for us? What about that? Yeah.
I think then we look at Duffy. We out of contract. Duffy, Brisley, Ward, Jones, Milsom, and Avina. We believe are out of contract.
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
defence.
Most of those aren't. Let's be honest. Most of those aren't staying.
I think Milsom's the only one that
Yeah.
people could put a case for.
Yeah, I think.
In with a shout.
Yeah.
But I'll put a half bothered effort into Jones, but
So let's say Milsom stays.
Yeah.
You just
We
need.
have
You just need to add. From what we've got, you just want to add centre backs because at full backs you've got Tuchel, Kellett, and Oxlade-Chamberlain. And you just need.
still think we need a left back.
Although Kelly was a very good number 10 when he's
I'd prefer him
he's-
further up the pitch as well.
Yeah, because his
Yeah.
delivery is very good. I mean, he's actually someone who could give you the dead ball delivery.
Mm.
I think Kelly, because he's got a decent left foot on him.
Yep. I think Tuchel and Bird I would have from that list as a potential starting 11.
I think we need three centre backs.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. Okay.
What formation would you want to see us play?
What would I like to see us play, or what do I think we'll play?
2-1-7.
I don't know. You know when we played with 5 at the back though, I thought we looked alright.
The only problem with that is I
Don't
agree.
play in the conference.
I can't think of
Don't
anything you
play
can play in the conference.
Yeah.
And you just need it's 4-4-2.
But then you've got the problem with if you keep an Alessandro and Kellett and you want to play them as number 10s, you can't.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would like to see a 4-3-3. I would like to see that with a 10, with Enzio given the licence to just attack his fullback. That's what I'd like.
Yeah.
However, I see it being a flat 4-4-2.
What would you like us to play?
I don't know. It's hard to say. We've never been there, and it's easy to say this works and that works, but you don't really know until you're
we'll
there.
all admit we don't know much about the league.
Exactly.
Or would you
Right.
have a 3-5-2 and you let's say Elliot Hewitt gets fit and you say to him, you are the screening player in front of that 3.
As a centre back.
Yeah. Well,
Well, as a
you've
centre-back
got
or-
you've got the 3 centre backs. You've got your 2 wide. You've got that Elliot plays in the middle of midfield.
Yeah.
That 5. But you say to him, you are the person who provides that screen in front of those 3.
Yeah.
Because defensively, we know he's good. He's he's fit enough. He's good in the air.
Yeah.
And certainly, but he can also provide a threat going forward, as we saw
Yeah.
against Crewe last season.
Equally, can play a 4 and have him, just have him that exactly the same role.
Yeah. And you say to the other 3, chip on.
Yeah.
Enzio and whoever.
Yeah.
But I think we need some. We've got to have some ball players in there.
James, what's your thoughts?
I play a 4-4-1-1 with a target man, and then Alessandro.
There.
A
we
A
go.
Hemmings and Alessandro combo.
Yeah.
If only we could sign John Akinde.
Well,
What did I say at the start of
Oh,
last
you
season?
said it
I said,
seasons ago.
Get
mate.
Akinde
Seasons
in,
ago,
and what's
yeah.
happened? He's now
Yeah,
gone up.
Akinde, yeah, because he's.
I did
he's-
say-
yeah, no, I always like to see football with one big target man in there because then they attack from corners, set pieces, and they can also.
4-4-1-1 is underrated.
And also, Ochi, who's at Cambridge, you went up to, is it Hearts?
Uche
Oh,
Piazza.
yeah,
Piazza,
that's it,
yeah.
yeah. Ochi. Again, big fella, mobile, skillful.
Yeah.
I always like, whenever I saw him, I thought, damn.
He causes.
But he was so good. And that goal he scored the other season against us, and he had 2 on him, and he just looped into the thing.
It's like big Jaguar hero as a wizard.
Well,
Cracking
again,
players to play
again.
against.
So what you've got to look at is that bit, and like Shola was for us last season to some degree, although people worked him out because of his age, he wasn't as mobile.
So obviously need to get a keeper in.
Yeah.
Centre backs and potentially a left back for us. So go to midfield. It's tough. Will Enzio stay?
If
Don't know.
is it? If I'm right in thinking he's got 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's got 2 years left on his contract and a club comes in and buy it, it's got to be like a decent amount, surely.
Well, if they give us 150,000, 200,000, yeah, we'll take 100,000
Do
here.
we pay 300,000?
Yeah.
Do you not think Notts would just cut their losses and let him go for the wage he could possibly be on?
Possibly.
Especially, they're going to need to
I
cut
don't know,
back
'cause
that wage budget.
He's got the potential though. If he's given the right role and he's let do what play how he wants to play, I think he's a good player. Maybe he goes into the National League with a bit more confidence and he's got that drive that.
I see it as the opposite.
Can you replace him for the same money there? That's the thing. Do you need to spend more to replace him?
I'm gonna go out here and I say don't in that league.
Yeah,
I don't think you need a player like him.
Well,
I
maybe
think
a step above the
It'd be a
league.
luxury.
I think you just need a winger that's going to track back and cross the ball.
Terry Hawkridge would have been perfect.
Hawkridge would have, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, I look at these players down here, and I really like Enzio. I would keep him next year, but this squad here that are still just in contract, that's pretty much filling up most of what we can reasonably afford, because we're not going to get as much money last year, and we were overspending this year.
Yeah.
So we can't. It's all good saying we want to keep that core. Oh, I might keep Stead, I might keep Milsom, I might keep Hewitt. We can't really afford to unless some of these players are willing to cut their wage.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
No, we do. They've already said that they need to cut down the wage budget.
Yeah, but you don't know that until new.
You've got to go from 40 players down to about 25.
Yeah.
I think.
And then
26.
there's financial fair play in that league. Obviously,
Yeah.
surely.
I'm not
Isn't
sure.
there?
Only championship.
But it was a
The
£3
combi.
wage bill, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah,
even chopping that by, that still makes it $1 million and a bit, $1.5 million.
And the trouble is, you can't even go with a smaller squad of more talented players because you need so many for that league.
No, because you are going to pick up injuries. You know,
Definitely.
it's
where
gonna
youth
be a
comes
hard
We need
slog.
to abuse that loan market
Yeah.
because you can, as far as I'm aware, it's not just loans are all year round. I don't.
It's
think
not
they're
sustainable,
just January,
though.
September.
What isn't there loan?
Loaning.
No, it isn't, but-
It helps. I agree. It helps. And it, like last season, well, we didn't have the loanees we had last season. It'd have been a lot worse than it was.
Yeah.
But it's you're trying to build a club that can go through the leagues, maybe get promotion, push on. But I don't know. You look at recent seasons, like Grant. He's been a massive part of anything we've done, really.
Yeah.
Without him,
Yeah, true.
But then you're saying that, like, would you rather have an O'Brien and a unknown loan, or would you rather have a Houston and a Vaughan?
Yeah.
Because let's just say, I know Vaughan's on a crazy moment, but let's just say that these two, their wage is equal to O'Brien's. Would you rather have those two, despite the fact they're not as good,
yeah.
No, I'd have O'Brien.
or would you have O'Brien and a potential loan signing
I'd have
that could be
O'Brien
great,
and
could be awful?
O'Brien and Lane.
Right.
Yeah.
So then Doyle, we've got something in his contract. If he goes down, he's got a clause as if we went down.
That's what we think.
That's
what we think.
So I don't think he stays. So I think that takes a spot up.
I think it's in his hands.
Yeah, I think
I
a
would.
League Two club would have him.
Yeah.
O'Brien.
I see him staying.
O'Brien. I'd
O'Brien's got another 12 months. He came for the security. I'd be surprised if he left.
Crawford.
Give him a
Yeah.
go.
Because
Give him a go.
he's got track record in this league.
He signed up.
And then Rose and Patching.
Yeah.
I think Rose would build the midfield round.
You give him captaincy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I said before.
I don't know what his personality's like, but he looks
Certainly on the
he's
pitch,
just
yeah.
ideal for non-league football. He's robust. He puts himself
Smashes and
about.
tackles.
He's got a great attitude.
No, he's skillful as well, you know. It's
Yeah.
not
You
it's
can
not
say
like
that
he's
about
got some
O'Brien.
skill.
He can strike a ball.
You know, if you go into the first game of the season with Rose and O'Brien centre mid, you'll be so happy
Yeah,
with
you
that.
will.
Yeah.
But
One of
we still need someone who can deliver a dead ball.
But what does this list lack?
Yes.
Any width, any wingers apart from Enzio.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
what we
definite.
need.
So then you go to the out of contract players, and all you've got for width of out of contract players really is Alessandro, and I think you have to keep him. You've got to keep Alessandro.
Yeah,
because he can
but
play.
if he can play number 10, but he can't play wide.
So
He can't
not
play
great.
wide.
he's not, but he's the best thing you've got to width on.
I would
that.
like to see us bring in at least 2 wingers. And I don't mind if one or possibly both of those are loans. But we were crying out for some width this year.
Oh yeah.
Crying.
So looking at the strikers, Dennis, is he a starter in that league?
Hard to tell.
He is.
No.
What
No.
we're going off.
He scored
Going
over
off one very very poor season, I guess.
In a poor side.
In a poor
Yeah,
side.
That's true.
That's true.
And I'll repeat myself, it's about the creativity.
Hemmings, is he going to stay?
I'd like to see him.
I would love him to stay, but I don't think he will.
I don't know.
I think
he likes the club. I think that's fair to see, like the way.
If he's settled, and if he thinks, you know, I want to do something here. He's moved. What was he? It was Oxford, then Mansfield,
He's Burton based.
Burton. So
Yeah, he
it's a
is.
local.
He is, but-
All right, maybe Burton Albion might look in, but maybe not. I don't know.
But to be a striker, you've got to have a selfish mindset some way. He might be looking at that and thinking to himself, I want 25.
I suppose it is
30
easy for a
goals.
fan
Yeah.
to sit there and say, "Oh, he probably wants to do this, wants to do that."
Yeah, but you've got to have that mindset as a striker.
Into him, it's a career. So he wants
Yeah.
to do the best of his career.
And
Yeah,
he's got a mortgage to pay and a family to feed. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I think A, it depends who comes in from him, and B, it depends what they offer him.
yeah.
Firstly, I'm not going to sell him without a fee. I don't know. I probably would say no.
No.
And secondly, someone's going to have to offer him at least 2 years to match what we're doing, and at least the same wage, which is probably a decent wage. Probably something that only a handful of League 2 clubs and League 1 clubs could afford.
Yeah.
And so I think the question is a League 1 club going to come in for Kane Hemmings?
No.
No.
I don't know.
Has he had a season or two where he's been prolific? No.
Atete, I don't think he'll stay.
The hype that's
Or-
the hype
and
that's
yours-
around him. You're looking at the likes of Tottenham.
If he's got any sense, it would stay because, and I always think about young players and that it's all about them. You know, it seems to be all about the money and making that I'm going to be playing in the Premiership, and how many players actually make it through to that Premiership? How many become Harry Kane or a Mo Salah, and not many.
No.
I know it's only one season in, but you look at that Dom DeHee from last season.
Yeah,
He was on the bench.
Yeah.
He moved to Wolves.
yeah.
What's he
What's
done?
he done?
I
Yeah,
haven't heard of him. Haven't heard of
disappeared,
anything
Yeah.
about him.
How many games
Dunno.
would he have got last
Has,
season?
has he progressed?
Exactly.
Yeah, as much as I don't know a lot about the Premier League under 23, you would have thought if he was tearing it up, someone would have dug it out and gone,
Yeah.
oh, look what we've lost here. So, I don't know.
It must be hard though. It's like a player at a lower level being offered like the chance that you want as that player.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to think, oh, I need to grow on my ability. I need to
Yeah.
process that and that.
Well,
when there's a Premier League club saying we want to buy him,
But
we
I
pay
wonder
this
if
much.
that's the difference between those that really make it at the top
Yeah.
and those that don't. That those who are willing to serve an apprenticeship and say, you know something, I believe in myself. I can wait a season or two. I can serve an apprenticeship with this club.
I know these are only obvious examples. Dele Alli,
Yeah,
he did it at the lower leagues. Look
yeah,
where he
K
is now.
Dons.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Quite a lot of the current, England side are lower league players.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
came through
Yeah.
youth teams at
Yeah,
lower
they did.
leagues.
I think what you definitely need is a proven goal scorer at this level.
I think they've got to keep Hemmings.
Yeah.
But
I know he's not at this level, but
yeah.
I think they've got to
He's
keep
proven
him.
goal scorer.
We could
yeah.
go for, what was it, Ricky Miller? See the Dover
Gosh,
strike.
yeah. I think
He's a
he's-
physical player though, Hemmings. So I think he'll stand up to the test.
Oh, he's
Oh,
big
yeah.
enough, he's strong.
Yeah.
And there's that Reece Murphy that's been released by Chelmsford, I think, 25 goals. The
Yeah.
Eastleigh guy.
Yeah, it's
He's
Paul
striker.
McCallum. He's I think he might be out of contract. He's big player, 6'3", I think, from Eastleigh.
Yeah, he's got
He's
that
the
sort
kind of player not should be looking at if he is out of contract.
Do you think players like, is it Danny Rowe from Fylde, who's got, is the top goal scorer, do you think players like that would be attracted to Notts if they came in?
I think he'd be attracted. I'm not sure Fylde would be entertaining the idea of selling him.
No. But if they
They've
don't
got a bit of money, and I think they've got ambition to push on as opposed to cash in.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say with the squad that's in contract, there's some players, key players, got to stay. And then
There's only a couple you'd
just
really
build on that.
want to get rid of as well.
And I'm sure there's people out there that say, yeah, but you know, they took us down.
Yeah.
These players didn't perform. But I think there's so many mitigating circumstances around the season and around what happened. 3 managers, a club in turmoil, off pitch, nothing going right. Yeah, they're not all of them are bad players. They're not.
You've got to build as well. You can't
Yeah.
keep swiping teams and rebuilding. Cause
And that's what I've said before. You know, we've got to have stability. This change has got to stop because it hasn't helped us so far. So
Exactly.
why would it help us in the future? Going back to Neil Ardley.
There you go. All right.
Very true.